What's your I did not see that one coming story? So I work at this pizza place downtown. Nothing fancy, just your basic cheese and pepperoni joint. My manager Josh is this super chill guy who's been there like 8 years. Never raises his voice, always covers shifts when people call out, brings donuts every Friday. Just the kind of boss everyone actually likes working for. About 3 months ago, this new girl Amy starts working there. She's probably around 22, really outgoing, always cracking jokes. Josh seems to really take to her, showing her all the ropes, letting her work the register right away instead of starting on dishes like most of us did. I figured he was just being nice to the new person, but then I started noticing little things. Josh would always schedule himself and Amy on the same shifts. When she'd mess up an order, he'd just laugh it off, but when anyone else did it, we'd get the whole speech about being careful. During slow periods, they'd always end up talking by the prep station, and she'd be touching his arm or laughing way too hard at his jokes. One Tuesday night, we were closing up and I was taking out the trash. I heard voices coming from Josh's office in the back. The door was cracked open just enough that I could hear Amy saying something about how her roommate was being a total pain and how she might need to find a new place soon. Josh was like, well, you know my couch is always available if you need somewhere to crash for a few days. I thought it was weird but didn't think much of it. Josh was always helping people out, but then Amy started showing up to work with these expensive looking earrings and a new phone. When I asked her about it, she just said she'd been saving up from her tips, but we all knew the tips at our place weren't that good. Things got really obvious when Josh started giving Amy all the prime shifts, Friday and Saturday nights when tips are actually decent. Meanwhile, the rest of us were stuck with Tuesday lunch rushes and dead Wednesday shifts. A couple of the other employees started complaining, but Josh would just say Amy was really dedicated and showed initiative. Last month, I was working a late shift with just Josh and Amy. Around 9 p.m., I was in the storage room getting more napkins when I heard them talking in the kitchen. Amy was saying something about how her rent was due and she was still short. Josh goes, "Don't worry about it, I'll take care of it like always." That's when it clicked. I realized Josh wasn't just being nice. He was literally paying her bills. The new earrings, the phone, probably her rent too. I felt sick thinking about it because Josh has a wife and 2 little kids at home. I didn't know what to do with this information. Josh was a good boss, and I didn't want to start drama at work. But it also felt wrong knowing he was basically cheating on his wife, even if it wasn't physical. 2 weeks ago, everything came crashing down. Josh's wife Sarah showed up at the restaurant during dinner rush. She looked upset and asked to speak with Josh privately. They went into his office, and even with the door closed, we could hear raised voices. About 20 minutes later, Sarah storms out of the office, walks straight up to Amy who's working the register, and just goes, $600 for rent, $400 for your car payment, and God knows how much for all that jewelry. I hope you're proud of yourself. Amy's face went completely white. Every customer in the place was staring. Sarah looks around at all of us and says, "In case anyone's wondering, my husband's been playing sugar daddy to his employee while I've been working 2 jobs to pay our mortgage." Then she walked out. Josh came out of his office looking like he'd been hit by a truck. Amy grabbed her purse and left without saying a word. The rest of us just stood there in this awful silence while a timer kept beeping because someone's pizza was ready. Josh tried to act normal for the rest of the shift, but you could tell he was falling apart. The next morning, our district manager shows up and calls Josh into the office. Turns out Sarah had called corporate and reported everything. Josh got fired that same day, not just for the inappropriate relationship, but because he'd been using his manager access to give Amy cash advances against her future paychecks, which is apparently super against company policy. They also found out he'd been fudging the schedule system to give her overtime hours she didn't actually work. Amy never came back. Word got around that she'd already found another job at some bar across town. Josh's wife filed for divorce 2 days later.